Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Jim sent me a good story out of Canada, and as many people have noticed, I do quite a bit of stuff involving Canada. Got some great neighbors to the north. I'm in Michigan, which is not far from Canada. And so the question is, someone asked this of the Globe and Mail, a big paper over there, can a traffic ticket from another country hurt my credit rating or my driving record? And this is by Jason Cheer, who wrote the story. And this is in response to a direct letter he got from Josh. And Josh asked him, 2 years ago, my wife and I rented a car in Italy. Later, the rental company charged my credit card $65 for 3 different photo enforcement tickets, which were apparently because I drove the car someplace it wasn't supposed to be at that time. In other words, you can't drive through here during these hours, and who reads Italian, you know? So that was the penalty fee, but not the actual tickets. The Italian police have now sent me 3 tickets saying I owe them $540, including late fees. And of course, he's in Canada, getting tickets from Italy. He says, I received a letter from an Edmonton collection agency hired by the Italian police. If I don't pay by the end of the month, they say the debt will be reported to my credit rating. Can they do that? And here's the convoluted answer, but it has to be convoluted because there's a couple different things going on here. And I'm going to inject my own 2 cents wherever it's appropriate. As Jason wrote, when it comes to traffic tickets and your credit rating, what happens in Italy should stay there. Should. Equifax says that traffic tickets shouldn't affect your credit rating. Now, that's just a ticket. Just a ticket. Okay, but let's talk about how the ticket becomes a debt. Equifax wrote to him, it is our standard practice to advise collection agencies to remove tickets relating to motor vehicle offenses from their data submission to Equifax. TransUnion Canada, which is the other credit bureau, did not immediately respond to questions. Traffic tickets can end up on credit reports even if they're not supposed to. So they might show up. But the question is, does the credit company think it belongs there, the credit reporting company? There are numerous stories of European and other countries resorting to collection agencies to recover out-of-town traffic fines, says Michelle Pommels, CEO of Credit Counseling Canada, in an email. In the long term, unpaid out-of-town fines could potentially affect your credit rating. Equifax says it's a good idea to check your credit file, and if you see unpaid tickets on it, call Equifax to dispute it. So it's not unusual for vacationers to get photo enforcement tickets as unexpected souvenirs, rental car companies say. Think about this. You know, people talk about this in America. They're driving along, and a week later they get a ticket in the mail. So you don't know what happens at the time. So imagine what happens to a tourist. Driving along, the ticket gets in the system, and the tourist leaves the country. Well, apparently this happens in Italy when you come back to America. For instance, in Italy, you're not allowed to drive in a zona a traffico limitato, or a ZTL zone, which is typically found in a historic city center during certain hours unless you have a permit. While there are signs, they are usually in Italian. And of course, your car's GPS might not know about the time and might not care about the time frames with respect to when you can go there. Photo enforcement tickets, including photo radar and red light camera tickets, get sent to the owner of the car, so they go to the rental car company. And then, of course, they eventually wind their way back to you, but that makes it even longer before they get to you. Depending on the country, the rental car company may pay the ticket and then charge the amount onto your credit card. Now, here's the thing. This now just became a credit card debt, not a debt to the country. In the European Union, police can order rental car companies to share your home address. Even though police will send you the ticket directly and the rental car company is off the hook for it, the rental car company can still charge you the administration fee. And don't be surprised if that's a good amount of money. If a customer gets a ticket in another country, they are responsible for the payment, said Abby Campbell, a spokesperson for Budget Group, in an email. The ticket may tell you how to dispute it, and that may come with court costs even if you do it by mail. In the case of the Italian ticket, the letter will have to be in Italian. And once it goes to collections, there might not be much you can do to lower it. The Edmonton Collections Agency and the Città della Riviera del Brenta, the union of municipalities near Venice that issued the tickets, didn't respond to requests for comments, probably because they were in English. Those tickets shouldn't affect your driving history, though. Generally, tickets in other countries won't appear on your Canadian driving record, but, and they point out the exception that I was going to point out, Ontario shares ticket information with New York and Michigan. Quebec shares it with New York and Maine. So there are some border states that share with Canada and vice versa. And so I've had people say, well, Steve, Michigan is not part of that driver's license compact. I don't have to worry about anything. Well, number one, Michigan does share its information with other states. They just don't have to be part of that compact. But number two, they share stuff with Ontario. Absolutely they do. Trust me, I've seen driving records of clients of mine, and I know it's there. Now, this only applies to tickets that officers give you in person because they're sent to the car's registered owner. Photo enforcement tickets don't come with demerits, and they don't appear on your driving record. But the bigger question, like I said, is if you get hate mail from Italy, I think we all have at one time or another in our lives, but if you get hate mail from Italy saying you owe us money, presumably you could just say, I'm not paying it. What are they going to do? But the problem is if it somehow got reduced to a debt put on a credit card in your name legally. So let's suppose that you rented a car with a credit card and you signed a rental agreement that says, I promise to make good on any fines or things that get levied against this car while I'm driving it. Okay, parking tickets, that's another common one. Well, if I have this agreement to do that and the credit card was given to the rental car company and I signed a contract saying they can do this, they can just take that and put it on the credit card. Now, whether that's going to hurt your credit with a reporting agency is another thing altogether. But the point is that you can't say, well, I'm not paying the rental car company because that's in Italy. No, you signed an agreement. Now, I've mentioned before famously that I signed an agreement in France that I couldn't read because it was in French to rent a car. I actually asked the woman in broken English and French, does this pretty much say what it says in America? And she says, oui, which I think is yes. So I assumed she was telling me the truth. So I signed it. I rented a car for a day, drove around the beaches of Normandy. Nothing happened as far as I know because I never got any hate mail from France. But if you rack up tickets in another country in a rental car, it's a good chance that the rental car company is going to ding your credit card with it. And there's not going to be much you can do about that because you probably agreed to that in a contract. So that debt could come back to haunt you. But the question is, the Italian municipality that turns you over to a collection agency in your home country, can they do much with it? And that's going to be a tough one because there is a whole process for international debts. And you just can't start sending bills to people in other countries going, hey, you owe me money. If you want to, you can start a call center in India and make phone calls and say that, but it's usually involving a knee brace or an extended warranty on your car. But generally speaking, there's not much they can do about it over there. But if you think it's on your credit report, check it out. And if it is, dispute it. That's the upshot of the story from the Globe and Mail, written by Jason Shear. And it was sent to me by Jim. Thank you very much. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Always borrow money from a pessimist. He won't expect it back.